Everybody, today we're going to be creating a card with GIMP and Google Images, and the card is going to be this type of card here where it folds down over itself. But before we start creating the card, we need to make sure we have the layer panel open and the toolbox open here. When people close GIMP, they sometimes close it from the layer panel here, which would cause the layer panel not to open next time you open GIMP. So to get the layer panel back, we hold the Control key down as we tap the L key, Control L, and that will reopen the layer panel here. And sometimes people also close the toolbox here when they close GIMP, which we should never do, and that would cause the toolbox not to open next time you open GIMP. So to open the toolbox, it's Control and then B for Bob, and that will open your toolbox, and then you will have to readjust your toolbox by dragging the side over slightly and then just drag it down a bit to give yourself some room on the screen. Drag it back up, and then we need to reattach our properties for our tools into this section here. So to do that, we double click on any tool, doesn't matter which one you open, and then we need to drag this section here down onto this section, and we do that by just dragging it down, and that section should turn blue when I release it there. It looks like my screen recording software is interfering with me being able to dock it back on there, but for you guys it should turn blue, and then you can release your mouse button on this area here and it should dock quite easily. So I'm just going to leave my options just as they are like that. I can still use them if I like. So the first thing we need to do is head over to Google Images and look for some pictures. So we open up Internet Explorer or Firefox. Firefox is a little more secure than Internet Explorer, so I recommend you downloading Firefox if you haven't already got it. And then we just type google.com and then press enter on the keyboard. And we arrive at Google. And then we're going to click on Images on the top left corner. And we're going to type in some images to look for. I'm going to be making a Christmas card, so I'm going to type in Christmas here and look for some Christmas related images. And the bells here look quite nice. So this is how we save the images in the Google image library here. We left click on one of the images we would like to save, and then we left click on it once again just so we can see the full size version. So there it is. So we right click on the image now to save it. We click on Save Image As, and desktop is a great place to save your images. Left click on desktop and then left click on Save. And that's it. That's how we save images in the Google Image Library. You should now see your image on your desktop. So let's minimize the browser here so we can see our images. Move our toolbox over slightly, and there's my image right there. Let's have a look at it. Double click on it. There's our image. So we have successfully saved it. And now we're going to start to create the card. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we have a page size that is appropriate. So we're going to left click on File and then on New, and the page size we're going to be using is going to be 1240 by 1754, and that's basically an A4 size. And then we just press enter. That will give us our page size. I'm just going to close this one behind here. Don't need that anymore. Move it over slightly. And now we need to make sure we're adjusting our page so it prints correctly. So before we start, let's make a few marks on our page here. I'm going to use the paintbrush there. So we've got to adjust it at about halfway. So let's try about here and about here. And we'll do the bottom section as well, I guess. So the reason we're doing that is to make sure we have the right area to do our work into when it prints. So what I would do now is actually print this and see if it's in the right section on the page, and it should be. We need to make sure we have perfect margins on the sides, the top and on the bottom here, so it looks all nice and professional when we fold the card in half. And I've just printed my card and it looks like it's in the right position here. So this area here is going to be our workspace. So what we need to do now is drag an invisible line down by just dragging just outside the ruler here. Just drag it down just to where you made your markers there. And then we know where we can do our work. So let's start to remove our little markers we had here. So I'm going to click on the eraser tool and then just make it slightly larger than what we had before, just to make it easy to remove those marks by dragging the size little slider bar to the right and then just drag over the top of your markers that you've made. Now we have a nice clean page to do our work. So now I'm going to drag my little bells image that I just saved in Google Images over onto my workspace. And then I'm going to just move my bells down into the right area first. So I'm going to left click on the Move tool and then just drag it down into the corner where you'd like your bells. And I've just gone and saved some holly from Google Images again. So I'm going to drag my holly over onto my workspace. And I'm going to move it down again, click on the Move tool, and then drag directly on top of the holly picture into the corner where you would like it. About there looks quite good, but I'm going to resize my holly to make it slightly bigger by clicking on the Scale tool and then dragging directly on top of the holly down slightly. Then click on Scale to finalize that. And just to make it more personal, I'm going to put my dog on the front here. So I have a picture of my dog Kai. I'm going to just drag him over onto my work area here. And then I'm going to move him down into the right area by clicking on the Move tool, then just drag him down. But I need to remove Kai's background here. So to do that, I'm going to zoom in on the area that I need to remove by clicking on the magnifying glass and then just dragging over that area that I'd like to remove first. And resize the workspace slightly. And now I'm going to click on my eraser. So keep in mind, if you don't scale the picture first, the eraser isn't active. So I've already scaled him. Actually, no, I don't think I have, so I'll scale him slightly. Just drag it down just a little bit. Click on Scale. And now my eraser should be active. So if I didn't actually scale him, this is what happens. So I'll just undo the scale, click on the eraser, and then drag on him there. So it actually leaves a white background behind, and I'm not sure why it does that, but it does. So I'm just going to undo that with Control Z. and then I'm going to scale him slightly, and then you can see the difference. So the eraser should now work when I scale him. Yes, it's working. So I'm just going to start by just slowly going around the outside of him, very slowly, and remove all of his background there. So I've almost removed all of the background there, but I need to get into this section here. So I'm going to zoom in to this section here, left clicking on the zoom tool, and then just dragging over that section there. Click back onto the eraser. And as you can see, my eraser is slightly too big there to get into these areas here, so I'm going to just resize the size of the eraser here. And you can actually manually resize it by typing in a number here to make it quicker. So I'm going to type in 15 there for the size. 15, and then just press enter on the keyboard. And as you can see there, my eraser is nice and small now. I can get into these small areas, and that'll make it easier to remove all of these little fiddly areas here. So I've removed all of these fiddly areas, and just keep in mind, if you do a mistake like that, for example, it's very easily fixed by just clicking on anti-erase. You'll see on the bottom here, and then you can just go and drag back over those areas where you accidentally erased. So I'm going to zoom out now to see what it looks like. Click on the percentage tool here, and then click on 100%. Let's zoom out a little more here. 100, and then about 50. There we go. So that's looking half decent there, but he's definitely not in the right position. So I'm going to move him over, maybe into the corner there. Let's click on our move tool, and I'm going to drag on these bells to get them out of the way, and drag Kai up into the corner, and maybe put the bells on the side here. As you can see, the bells are being hidden by the holly layer here, so I'm going to have to remove the holly background here so the bells show through. So I need to left click on the holly layer, move the layer panel over slightly, and click on my scale tool, because I don't think I've scaled the hollies yet. Maybe I did. Let's just do it anyway, because the scale tool will activate the eraser. And then just click on scale. So let's start to remove the background of the hollies by left clicking on the eraser tool. And I'm going to turn off the anti-erase that I had on before. And I'm going to adjust the eraser size to about 40, I think, here. Nice large eraser, makes it easier to remove the background. And then I'm going to press enter. Okay, that's not too bad. Now I'm going to zoom in on that section to make it easier. Okay, to click on the magnifying glass and then just drag a square over that area so I can have the bells showing through here. Click on my eraser and then just drag over that area where you want the background to be removed. And there we go, there, that's looking good. Okay, that's good. Let's zoom out so we can see what it looks like. 50%. Not too bad there. Okay, let's just remove that little bit there. Okay, looking good. I think Kai's slightly too big there. Let's make him a little smaller. Let's click on Kai layer. And because Kai's the layer we're working on, so we need to activate that layer. And now I'm going to click on my scale tool and then drag Kai up just a little bit. You can see two images of Kai here. One is a before image and one is an after image. Click on scale. Maybe slightly smaller scale. And I'm going to move him down a little bit with the move tool. And I think that adjusted him. Let's try again. Scale. And just drag up. Click on scale to finish. Click on the move tool. That's better. Right, now we have some more room there where we can put our text if we need to. And we're just going to use a simplified text here, and just to make it easy for everybody. So I'm going to click on the A tool, and I'm going to choose my size before I start. So let's try 50. You can always adjust it later if it's not the right size. And I'm going to choose my color as well. Click on the color box here, and let's go for red, so it matches everything. Click on red in the column here, and then we're going to click on red for the shaded box here. And there's the current color that I'll be using. Click on OK. Click back on the work area. Now I can type in my message. Merry Christmas. Oops, let's just adjust that. Merry Christmas. Yeah, let's make it a little bit bigger, I think. Click on my... Oops, I'm clicking in the wrong area there. Here's my size here. So I'm just going to click on the up arrow. Oops. Actually, I think I'll do it from here to make it easier. There we go. Nice and big, make it stand out. And obviously I've got a capital H that I need to adjust there. So go to left click into the text box there, remove that H and lowercase. Now we're going to move Merry Christmas over. Moving text in GIMP can be a little tricky if you're not sure how to do it. Click on the move tool. Then we need to drag directly on top of the text. As you can see there, the pointer with the move symbol has only got a move symbol there. When you are not on top of the text, the symbol moves to a hand. Now if I drag now, it's actually going to move the background and not the text. So I'll undo that, Control Z. Now I'm going to move directly on top of the text. As you can see there, it changes to a move symbol only. Now I can drag the text and I can move it wherever I like. That's quite good there. And text always looks good if it has a background with a shade on it. So I'm going to create a shade for the text by clicking on filters and then light and shadow and then drop shadow. And here's our drop shadow options here. I'm not going to worry about changing any of these settings here. I'm just going to see what it comes out like if I just click on OK, and if it's not desirable, I'll go back and change these settings to change the size and the blurriness of the shadow. Click on OK, and that's not too bad, but it's slightly too far away, I can see there from the text, so I'm going to adjust that. So I'm going to undo what I did there, Control Z, and let's try again. Filters, light and shadow, drop shadow, and I'm just going to halve these numbers. So let's try a 4. 4, 4. Let's try about 7 for the blurriness. And then click OK. There we go, not too bad. Now moving text with a shadow can be a little tricky. For example, if I click on my move tool and then try and drag directly on top of the text here, you can see the shadow gets left behind. So to have the shadow move with the actual text, I'll undo that first, we need to lock the drop shadow and the Christmas text layer together. We do that by left clicking in this section here, which will bring up the chain. Left click on the text layer as well. Now these two layers are locked together and they should move as one when we move them. So click on your move tool and now make sure your text is directly, or your mouse is directly on top of the text. Now we can move it and it should move together. There we go. Not too bad. It's looking a bit bare there, so I'm going to add a little more text here just to spice it up slightly. So I'm going to click on the A tool and left click into the picture and type a little more text. Yep, it's slightly too big there, so I'm going to adjust the size. I'm going to make it smaller than the text above it there. And now I'm going to move it over, click on my move tool. Make sure my mouse is directly on top of the text. Look for the move symbol to appear only. And just drag it over. And also a nice drop shadow will spice that up a bit. Filters, lighten shadow, and drop shadow. This shadow needs to be a lot smaller than the other shadow, obviously, because of the text size. So I'm going to halve these numbers again. 2, 2, about 3 for that one, for the blur radius, which is the blurriness of the text. Click on OK. And there we go there, that's looking good. Don't forget to lock the shadow layer and the text layer so they move together. Click on our move tool. And if you need to move them, make sure your mouse is directly on top of the text. Actually, I've locked them all together, haven't I? Let's unlock the large text there. And now the small text layer should move by itself. There we go. Well, the bottom section is looking a little bare there, so I'm going to look for another image with Google Images. And I think I might put some presents in this corner here, I think. So I found my presents with Google Images again. Here they are here. Just going to drag them over onto the work area. And then I'm going to move them with the move tool. Drag them down, and I'm going to make them a little bigger than they are now. Big images always stand out better than smaller images, of course. Click on the scale tool, and then I'm going to drag up a little. Click on scale to finalize that. And we need to remove the background a little here, as you can see. So I'm going to click on my eraser and then just drag over that section there. And to really personalize it and top it off, I'm going to put an image of myself in the corner here. So I'm going to drag my picture over here. And I'm probably going to need to resize it. Yes, I do. So I'm going to click on my scale tool and then just drag down a little here. Click on scale to finalize. And let's move it over with the move tool. Drag it over. And obviously we need to remove the background here so it blends in with the white background. So I'm going to click on my magnifying glass and then just drag over the area I want to start with. Click on my eraser here and just drag over the area you want to remove. So as you can see there, I've removed all of the background, and just keep in mind, if you do a mistake like that, you can use anti-erase when you have the eraser tool selected. See anti-erase on the bottom. And then you can just drag over that mistake you made to bring it back. So that's a picture of me, which I do not like one little bit. So let's zoom out and see what it looks like. 50%. It's not too bad. Of course, if you spend a lot more time on your picture, you can come up with something really special, I'm sure. This has only taken me about 20 minutes or so. I have a little section here that I'd like to fix though. So I'm going to click on the Kai layer, because this is the Kai picture. There he is there in the layer panel. I'm just going to drag over that section there. Make sure I have anti-erase off because I need to remove that section. And then just drag over those little areas there. I think I'll move the holly over slightly so it touches the side. So I need to find the holly layer in the layer panel here, which is this one. And click on my move tool and then just drag the holly over a little so it touches the side. Okay, that's about it. Let's zoom right out so we can see the whole page. Click on the percentage tool and then on the 12.5. A bit too far. Let's try 25%. It's looking good. Okay, so when we print this picture out and then fold it in half, it should be a half decent Christmas card there. Good luck with yours. Thanks for watching. Before you go, I forgot to mention how to save this picture. To save it, we left click on File and then on Export. And this is Gimp 2.8 I'm using. With Gimp 2.6 it's just File and Save As, I think. But with 2.8 we need to click on Export because I would like to save this as a JPG file. So File, Export, and then we just type JPG on the end of the file name up the top there. And I'll change the name of the picture there to Christmas, and then click on Export, and then Export again. And that's it. Now we should have a file on the desktop, which I can't see. Let's have a look for it. Oops, my mistake. The reason I can't find it is because I didn't give it a location, or the desktop location, so I'm going to save it again. File, Export, and then Desktop. Now it will appear on the desktop. Okay, Export again. Export. Okay, there it is there. So I'm going to double click on that picture to see it. There it is. Should look quite good once it's folded in half. And all you would have to do now is buy some nice card to print it on. A glossy type of card paper would be nice. And then it will look really nice after it's printed. And then you could write inside of the card with a pen or something, and then you can give it off to your friend or your family members. Thanks.